let's get started with our fulfillment option overview. Just a word of warning, I have a bit of a flu, so I may mute myself randomly throughout the session in the event I have to cough. So, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So, yeah, let's proceed. So, in Amazon, there are three fulfillment options that you can choose from as a selling partner. These are FBA naturally, fulfilled by Amazon, Easy Ship, and Self Ship. You can choose to use a combination of the three fulfillment methods as needed on factors such as the size of business, your product type, order volume, processing, inventory, etc. Now, these are the three options, starting with fulfillment by Amazon FBA. So, this is basically where you ship the items to one of our Amazon fulfillment centers, where we will then do the rest for you, ensuring your products arrive safely and in a timely manner in your customer's doorstep. Now, what are the advantages of FBA, you might ask? So, we handle everything from packaging to shipping your products to the customer, giving you more time to work on expanding your business. We will provide reliable, free, fast delivery, which your customers will love and trust, ensuring that your customers will keep on returning. We manage the returns and customer support for you so that you won't have to. And we provide a consistent experience using our world renowned customer service, therefore, reducing the need to worrying about processing customer returns at all. Now, next up, we have eShip. Now, this is a fulfillment option where you, as a selling partner, will store and pick your products yourself, where you would then drop off your package order to a designated drop off or pickup point within your assigned couriers network, where once we receive it, Amazon will then deliver the order to the customer for you. Now, what are the advantages of eShip, you might ask? Fantastic question. So, you will have access to Amazon's power delivery service with a large geographical coverage, allowing you the ability for greater customer base to be reached. Next, your customers will have the ability to track their orders directly on the Amazon account as well. Very useful. Apologies. Next up, last but not least, we have Self Ship. Now, Self Ship is an option where Amazon is literally just used as a shopping interface, where you will then store, pick, pack, and deliver the products to the customer yourself. Um, Now, this is a option that is ideal for a selling partner who already has their own warehouses, their own delivery infrastructure, but you want more visibility to a larger customer base that Amazon can then offer to you. Now, what are the advantages of self-ship? This includes the visibility of getting your products listed and viewable to Amazon's large customer base, the flexibility to use your own delivery associates or courier services, the option to set your own shipping price, and that is effectively it in terms of understanding what each fulfillment method is. Now we're going to move on to the features that each fulfillment has in a bit more detail. So let's move on to this following slide. So let me steer you towards the slide of ours. So effectively, as you will see with fulfillment by Amazon, literally the only thing that you would have to worry about as a selling partner is actually getting your stock inbounded. So preparing your products, labeling them, boxing them up in a big box, and then or multiple big boxes, and then having a courier send it off to your designated fulfillment center. From there, we will store, package, ship, handle the customer service, and handle the customer returns for you. So literally all you would have to worry about is getting stock inbound successfully. From there, we have Easy Ship. Now, Easy Ship and Self Ship, the inbounding to an FC is not applicable at all, so that's not applicable. Now with EasyShip, the storing and packaging will be in your hands as a selling partner, but then you will then drop it off or have it picked up by your assigned courier, where Amazon will then deliver to the customer as the last mile or the courier that we will assign to you. Then from there, you would then still handle the customer service and customer returns. Now with self-ship, um, everything is in your hands, literally, from storing, packaging, shipping, customer service, returns. Amazon is just there for the shopping interface. That's it, for the customer to place the order through, and then you would basically still fulfill the order as per normal. So yeah. Now with that, we are before we move on, I would ask of you to definitely consider all the aspects of what I've mentioned so far of the fulfillment process that we can handle for you, as depending on the fulfillment option you choose, this will basically help in catering to how much time you'll be able to invest into the growth and expansion of your company. Now, definitely some food for thought as you're going to move on to choosing the fulfillment method that works best for you and your business. So let's move on. So yes, So choosing which fulfillment model or service to use requires a clear and strategic evaluation process. You will need to identify the specific needs and objectives of your business to know the services and functionalities that you will require. Now, you need to consider important factors such as the scalability of your business, the integration capabilities with your business to that with Amazon's network, fulfillment network, your overall budget, very important, and then your pricing models, super important as well. Now, with that, please refer to our Cellular University ZA YouTube channel that has some videos that will further outline the fees that comes with the selection of one of the fulfillment methods, as this will also provide further guidance on what fulfillment method will work best for you. Further to the above, please click on the link as well within the PDF deck that one of my colleagues have shared in our group chat as well. Where on the specific slide, there will be a link that you can click on to be redirected to our FBA fees help page that will also further outline each fee that comes with the usage of FBA specifically. And that help page will also have a link to our revenue calculator as well that you can use as well. Now, let's look at the potential conditions that each fulfillment channel may be suitable for based on your business needs. So with FBA, it will be applicable in cases where you have high order volumes due to fast moving items and you want better control over peak volume seasons where you need that human capital, where you need those people to be able to fulfill those bunch of orders for you. FBA will be able to handle that because we have staff at the ready to get those orders fulfilled for you. Um, Secondly, when you want to reduce bottlenecks in your business's capacity, for instance, during periods of growth and expansion, where you want to reduce the limitations of costs that comes with human capital. As I mentioned, we have staff, we have a warehouse ready and waiting to get your stock inbounded, where we will take care of everything for you. And then, yeah, if you also want to tap into the expertise and technology that Amazon has to offer, FBA is the go-to. And then lastly, also if you need to ship your orders off to further off locations or expand your customer base to further off locations, FBA is ideal for that. Now with EasyShip, when will you need to use it? When will it be ideal for? If you have your own warehouse for storage, however, you don't have an existing delivery infrastructure to make use of, that's when when EasyShip will be ideal. Um, Also, you will, when will that be ideal? If you want to have more control and flexibility over your inventory, especially if you have instances of products that have low order volumes due to slower moving items, and that you will be able to manage easier. EasyShip will be ideal for that. Whereas with FBA, higher order volumes or larger volume of orders going out, FBA will be ideal for that regard. And then yeah, so with all that I've mentioned so far, the decision is in your hands regarding what you have identified your business needs to be, where we have all these options available for you. I would say utilize them as best as possible. Um, for not only to benefit your customers, your business, but yourself in the long run as well. Um, but also you also have the option to use FBA and EasyShip concurrently. So you can play around with using FBA, seeing how it works for you, and then changing to EasyShip and vice versa. Um, but don't worry, if you don't see the option of EasyShip immediately, by default, when you start the listing process, you are automatically set by default to EasyShip. So yeah, if to start using FBA, you will have to manually convert your products, your EasyShip listings or your newly created listings to FBA, and I will demonstrate that a little bit later during our presentation. But yeah, um, so besides the fact that you can also convert your products back and forth between FBA and EasyShip, um, it is quite crucial to know how to do so, as especially if you want to go on vacation and you need someone to fulfill those orders for you. You can convert all your listings to FBA while ensuring that you've inbounded enough stock. Then we will then take care of the customer orders for you. And then once you are back ready to take the reins of those orders, you can then convert some or all of your products to EasyShip, where you can then basically start fulfilling the orders yourself again, and then have Amazon delivered to the customer for you. Um, but yeah, as I mentioned, I implore you to utilize our systems to accommodate not only yourself, your business, but your customers as well. But it's of utmost importance that you make use of what we have to offer. Yeah, especially to just not only aid in the growth of your business, but in the long run as well. But yeah, so effectively, with this overview out of the way, let's move on to today's main attraction, FBA, and our send to Amazon overview. Let's just move on. Let's see here. Boom. So yes. So let me just get this. There we go. So FBA. So what is FBA? Firstly, so FBA or Fulfillment by Amazon is a program that lets you send products to Amazon fulfillment centers, where Amazon will then store your inventory, ship your orders, and then handle your returns and customer service. Enrolling your products in FBA can help you streamline your fulfillment process and therefore allow you to focus on strategizing and growing your business even further. I fixated on that a bit earlier. But now, at this point in your journey in Amazon, you may have already listed, you may have already started the listing process, but now the next step is to define how your shipments will be delivered to your customer. As by default, as I mentioned, all your listings will be set to easy ship. Now, as I mentioned, this can either be in terms of setting up that fulfillment channel you'll be making use of. It can either be through Fulfillment by Amazon naturally, easy ship, or self ship that we covered a bit earlier in our slides. So let's move on now to the process of actually getting those products in FBA. So let's move on. Apologies. So yeah, so from this point, so you can enroll as many products as you'd like into FBA while keeping others in EasyShip. For example, some selling partners on our other marketplaces have found success using both fulfillment methods depending on their product and business needs. Now, to convert any of your existing listings to FBA, your first step is, as you'll see now in the slide, in the top left corner of your screen, you'll have the menu button, or it's almost like a hamburger menu. You click on that, you will hover then over inventory. Then you'll click on manage all inventory. Then from there, you need to identify the products firstly that you'd like to convert. And then once you're like 100% certain, yes, I want these 4 products in FBA, you're going to, if you're going to do it one by one, you're going to basically, along the row of the product, you'll have on the right hand side, you'll have an option of edit. Next to the option of edit, you'll have a drop down option. You click on the drop down, then you click on the option of change to fulfilled by Amazon. Now, once this is done, you'll typically then get almost like a green banner indicating that, yippee, you've been converted to FBA, and it usually takes about 15 minutes at maximum an hour for the products to be successfully listed in FBA. Sometimes it's instant, but yeah, 15 minutes to an hour at max for that to take effect. And then yeah, once you've converted it, once you've opted for it, you'll immediately then have an option to either then just simply list as FBA, then you can then start the send to Amazon process later on, or you can then opt for list as FBA and send to Amazon. Then you can immediately start the send to Amazon process. So yeah, so that is effectively, and then also on the slide, you'll see there's a small checkbox there. Or if you can't see it, there's on your manage all inventory page, you have on your left hand side, you'll have an option of status. Now, status, below status, the heading of status, you'll have either inactive, out of stock. Typically, when you see that, that's because you haven't indicated that there's available stock. And by default, when you list as FBA, all your units, your listings will automatically be opted for out of stock, because you'll have to start the send to Amazon process to get some stock inbounded for it to become available for sale. Now on that left-hand column where it will have inactive and active and basically all your listings and statuses, you'll have a checkbox next to it. Now you can then check the boxes of each product you want to basically manually or in bulk convert to FBA. Once you've checked all the boxes you want for all the products you want to convert, you can then refer a little bit up just below the heading of manage if inventory. Then you'll have an option that says action on X selected. When you click on that, then you'll have basically all the options you would have if you had to click on that drop down next to the word edit, where you can then change to fulfillment by Amazon. You can, yeah, basically all the options you would have on an individual product level, you'll have it for all those selected products, and you can do it in bulk. So that's super cool to know, and yeah, for as a best practice or tip. So yeah, let's move on to effectively getting 2 listings available, getting your product available through FBA and eShip at the same time concurrently. So with changing to FBA, you can already have an item set for e-ship, for example, but then you can then get another listing of the same product set for FBA as well. Now, this is super important when it comes to the reverse of it. So if you have FBA, but you want to convert to EasyShip, now what makes it complicated in cases like that is what happens to the stock that you've already inbounded. So that's why cases like this, or having this option of adding another condition or creating this duplicate listing for EasyShip only, will make it easier for your FBA stock to first get exhausted, where once your FBA stock is like once all the stock has been sold, then you can then deactivate that listing and then keep the EasyShip listing available. Yeah, just to avoid cases of stock being stranded. That's you'll see a heading on your account that actually says stranded in the event of cases like that, or stagnant. So then the stock will just be laying about, sitting on a shelf somewhere with no FBA listing assigned to it. So that's why this option of adding another condition is vital to ensure that your FBA stock can first be exhausted while having EasyShip available as well for your listing. So enough prattling on mine. Let's go through what we need to do to get this done. So to do this, once again, you're going to click on the menu button in the top left corner. You're going to click on the hamburger menu. You're going to hover over inventory and then click on manage all inventory. The exact same spot where you had the edit and then the drop down option next to it on the far right hand side along the row of the specific product. You can then click on the drop down. Then instead of change to fulfilled by Amazon, you'll then have an option that says add another condition. Once you've opted for add another condition, you will then be taken to a new page where you need to be sure to fill in the information as accurately as possible, as all those fields are mandatory. But then it's effectively you would add in a SKU, a unique identifier for that listing. You'll add a price for the product. Offer condition will be new for now, will always be new. And then fulfillment channel, this is where the magic happens. So then if this listing is already EasyShip, but you want to convert it now to FBA, you're not going to opt for I will ship this item myself because technically you're already shipping it yourself through EasyShip. Then you're going to opt for instead Amazon will dispatch and provide customer service. Once you've opted for this, then you can then click on save and finish, and then yeah, same dealio. It takes about 15 minutes to an hour, sometimes instant, where you'll then see another listing literally appearing on your manage your inventory page, but then it will have the exact same product, like same title, everything, but then you'll see one is EasyShip, the other will be FBA. How will you know this? Is by default with EasyShip, immediate indicator with EasyShip, when you check under the column of available, it has a white box where you can indicate the amount of units you have available. With FBA, you won't have an option to indicate it because you will only be able, you will first have to inbound the stock, and then the number of available stock will then automatically update based on what our FC staff has received. So that's the immediate indicator. White box to add available quantity for EasyShip, no box or grayed out field for FBA. So you won't even be able to input that at all. So yeah, so Yippadoodle. So that was basically adding another condition. So then your product will then be available through FBA and EasyShip at the same time. Next up, we're going to move on now to the actual main attraction, actually the actual send to Amazon workflow. So what is the Amazon send to Amazon, the Amazon send to Amazon send to the send to Amazon process, or STA? So this is basically a shipment creation workflow with a streamlined process aimed at replenishing your fulfillment by Amazon FBA inventory whenever needed. Now, with that, you will set up your shipment on Seller Central and get your shipments ready using Carrier Central in preparation to physically ship your products to our FCs, fulfillment centers. Now, I'm going to mention a bit more in detail regarding what Carrier Central is. That's for appointment booking. And there are instances where you won't even need Carrier Central at all. So, with Amazon having successfully launched, I would definitely recommend always keeping an eye on your manage all inventory, or specifically manage FBA inventory page, to ensure that you never run low on stock, and that you are frequently, as soon as you see your stock is running a bit low, that you are frequently replenishing your stock as soon as you can, to just make sure, of course, that you never run low, and that you don't face any challenges with inbounding your stock, as You have to then wait for the courier to deliver to our FC. Then you have to wait for our FC staff to receive and inbound that stock, which takes time. So to basically avoid that, apologies, um, you can then avoid all of that by just basically keeping an eye on your manage FBA inventory page. And then yeah, next up, let's get the ball rolling with the actual send to Amazon process and the steps that um, that is involved in it. So there are a few ways that one can arrive at the send to Amazon landing page. In this session, I will be demonstrating two of those methods. So the first method is through the conversion of a product listing that we went through a bit earlier, to Fulfilment by Amazon using your inventory page. Now, once more, you're going to click on the top, the menu button in the top left corner of your screen. Hover over Manage Your Inventory, then select the product you want to send to our fulfillment center. Hover over or click on the drop down menu next to Edit, and then click on Change to Fulfillment by Amazon. Once you've done that, you fold in all the needed information. You'll then have an option that says List as FBA and then Send to Amazon, immediately taking you to the Send to Amazon workflow for that specific product. Now, oh, and then apologies, moved on to the next slide. Now, this will then land you on the Send to Amazon process. Next up, we can, the second method would be hovering over inventory again in the top left corner of your screen after clicking on the menu button, then clicking on Manage FBA Inventory. Then from there, once you're on the Manage FBA Inventory page, you'll have an option that says Shipping Queue on the top ribbon of options, then click on Send to Amazon. Alternatively, as you'll see in the slide, instead of even clicking on Manage FBA Inventory, you can also click on Manage FBA Shipments. That will also take you directly to the shipping queue. So that's three, three methods, not two, on how to get to the Send to Amazon process. Now, let's move on to getting that shipment plan created and the steps involved. So the Send to Amazon workflow consists of 6 steps total. Step one being choosing the inventory to send. Step 1B, packing the individual units. Now, step 1B is only applicable if you are actually going to be sending in multiple different products, or different SKUs, where you would have an option that will say individual units or create case pack templates. If you indicate individual units for all the products you'll be sending in, then by default, step 1B will then appear, packing individual units. So you'll see it's a trend as you go through the Send to Amazon process. Depending on what you select, certain pieces of information will then disappear. I'll highlight one other step that will also disappear depending on what you select. So after step 1B, packing individual units, you'll then be moved to step 2, confirming shipping. Next up, step 3, we will have print box labels. Step 4 is confirm carrier and pallet information. Now with step 4 won't even appear if you indicated in step 2. Step 2 being confirm shipping if you're going to be sending in small parcel deliveries or palletized shipments. Now if you indicated small parcel deliveries, step 4 becomes immediately redundant. It's useless. So then by default, step 4 will then completely disappear. You won't even see it. And then you will immediately be moved over to the last step, being tracking the shipment. Now, with step 4, after confirm carrier and pallet information, you'll be moved. There will be step 5, scheduling the delivery to the FC. Now, this is an offline step where you'll have to basically reach out to the courier, get the shipment handed over to the courier, get the appointment booked, and then have it basically forwarded to your designated fulfillment center. Now, let's move on to each step in detail. So, let's start with step 1, choosing the inventory to send. So first, select the item you would like to send to the Amazon Fulfillment Center. From here, fill in the packing details. Here, you'll provide information on the ASINs in each box contained in your shipment. Now, providing accurate box content information can help reduce the risk of boxes being sidelined and make products available for sale more quickly. Now, this is very important as how you provide box content information will depend on whether the boxes contain single ASINs or multiple ASINs. So single ASINs being where the option of creating packing template, and multiple ASINs being individual units, the option that you will get under packing details. Now, under packing details, with selecting creating new case pack template. This is in instances where you're packing multiple units of the same SKU. So 150 to 100 units of the same product in a shipping box, case packs. And then this is definitely best to do now, I would say, as once you create this packing template can be reused multiple times, infinitely, for any and all future replenishment orders you might have for that particular product. Now, once you open up when you click on create new packing template, you'll have a small pen icon. When you click on the pen icon, you'll then be taken to the actual template itself. Then from here, it's important that you then choose a unique name or identifier for the product, or for this template, under packing template name. Then under units per box, that's just basically by default the amount of units you expect to send in per box. So like 5 units, 10 units, 20 units per box. Then the box dimensions, the size of the actual box the products will be shipped in, and then the weight of all those units in that box, what will be the final weight. And then from there, you can also then indicate who will be prepping the products, the prep required for the products. So let's say a bunch of mugs you'll be sending in. By default, those are fragile products. So those products will need bubble wrap. And when you click on, you'll have an option that says prep category. When you click on um, prep needed or prep required, then it will give you a small drop down of all the different types of products. So like sharp products, liquids, fragile. And then if you indicate fragile, for example, then you'll have a small checklist of prep guidance that you can follow on how this product needs to be prepared. So very valuable. I'm going to go over it a bit more later in the presentation again. But yeah, so that was the packing details template. So that's when we have to create case packs. Now, when we opt for individual units. Now, individual units is if you pack boxes that contain more than one SKU, several products, um, or case packs as well that change from shipment to shipment. So you can indicate this, um, then the case packs will then just be shipped in multiple separate boxes, but still individual units. A bit confusing, so I would opt for just indicating individual units, and then along the row of, you'll see on your send to Amazon process, there will be a quantity to send. Then you just indicate the amount of units you'll be sending, instead of opting for combining case packs and individual units together, just kind of to test out the process first, until you're more familiar. So yeah, so now let's fixate a bit more on individual units. So with selecting individual units, you will be requested to define if the items need prep and will be required to do this prep. As I mentioned, similar to the create new packing template, you'll have to indicate who preps the units. Now, under this you'll be able to indicate under the information action section, as you will see in our slide. Now, further to this, as with case packs, guidance will also be given at this point on how to prep the items for the shipment, and stowage once you have defined the category of the items. Category as in sharp, fragile, liquid, small, adult. You'll see it's like a drop down of several options that you can choose from. But be sure to select what's relevant for your product. And then on the same spot under information and action, apologies. Under information action, you'll also have an option that says print SKU labels. Now, this is super important, as this is the labels that you'll actually need to print out in a PDF file to print out and paste on each individual product of yours. So, but you'll have several options to choose from in terms of label sizes, from custom size to label sizes between 21 up until 44 up labels. 45 up labels are still to come. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But yeah, 21 up until 44 up labels. And you can go the custom label size route as well, where in terms of width and height, it will be between 25 millimeters, between 25 millimeters and 100 millimeters in width and length. That's the range of custom size labels you can make use of. And then yeah, then from here, the biggest difference also between case packs and individual units, with individual units, when you go to the quantity to send option, you'll only have the option of boxes will be grayed out, and you'll only be able to input the units, the amount of units. With using a case pack, only the option of box will be available. So the boxes on the quantity to send will be available, but then the unit field will be blanked out or grayed out. And then as you indicate, let's say you in your case pack, you indicated packing template, you indicated you'll be sending 20 units per box. If you indicate 2 boxes will be sent in, then by default, the units will then update to 40 units. So yeah, just something to take into account. Now, very important to note. So in terms of indicating the amount of units you'll be actually sending in, this is the you'll be indicating the sellable units. So basically a sellable unit is the item that the actual customer will be buying. So for example, if you are selling a bunch of pens, for example pencils, let's say pencils, a 10 pack of pencils, that will be one sellable unit, not 10 but one, because it's one solid product that will be sent in, with a quantity of 10 pencils total, so one sellable unit. So just super important to make note of. Now, I would recommend, as I mentioned with the prep, it's very important to make sure that you are prepping your products correctly. As yeah, in cases like, let's use mugs for example. If you're sending in mugs, but the mugs doesn't have bubble wrap on them at all, it was just simply sent in with in a bag, for example, a bag, and then that bag was popped into a box and then delivered to us. By default, that mug, we will our FC staff will immediately see if this mug can't be safely stored and then deliver to the customer successfully. So that requires us to do the prepping for you, which will then just result in further delays with with your products becoming available for sale. So super important that you make sure that you are prepping your products as indicated on your page, on the send to Amazon process, specifically step 1. Now, as I mentioned, when you are able to set the prep category and who preps the products and whatnot, you will have a drop down where you'll be able to see all the different types of prep that's required. So then you can if you are planning to maybe let's say you are selling pencils for example, that doesn't really need much prep at all, but then you're planning in future to sell mugs, then you can already kind of gauge what type of prep that will be needed later down the line if you are going to be sending in fragile slash glass items. Same thing if you're going to be sending in scissors, for example, you can already see what type of prep will be needed for sharp products. So something to play around with, um, and kind of just see how the system works. And worry not, you can always opt to start new or refresh the system. We don't even need to save or actually create that virtual shipment. When you're on the send to Amazon process, in the top right corner of your screen, you may be able to see it in our slides as well, but there's an option that will say start new. Start new will just basically start the process from scratch, so not saving anything. So then at least it's not something you have to worry about having a bunch of test shipments you created for yourself. Then you can just start new and then yeah, start everything from scratch. Okay, so from here, um important things to note. So before you just to emphasize this a bit more again, I will be covering this a bit later again as well, in terms of how to prep and label your product successfully. But if the option when you categorize your the type of prep that's needed for your products, you will have an option of selecting who preps it, either yourself or Amazon. If you do opt for to have Amazon do the prepping for you, there is a per unit fee. Now, because when you do the prepping of a product, after the prep has been done on, let's say, a mug again, the label will then be pasted on top of that already prepped product. So by default, if we are going to do the prepping for you, you will automatically then be opted into the labeling of the product as well. So then there will be a fee for the prep and a fee for the labeling. So something to take into account, which is why I would definitely recommend you guys do the prepping and labeling yourself, especially in the earlier phases of if you're just starting out, or if you haven't yet inbounded as many products yet, just to kind of test the waters and get super familiar with how everything works. Um, and then, yeah, let's move on then to step 2. So what is step 2? So at this point, you have already confirmed the box content information. You have already confirmed that you'll be sending in individual units, for example. Now, at this point, Amazon will then determine where each box will be shipped to in order to ensure that the inventory is placed in close proximity to your customers. Now, please note that you won't be able to decide on your own to which fulfillment center you can ship to. You will need to follow all the steps presented in the Send to Amazon workflow, where the fulfillment center's address will also then be provided to you. Now, Each shipment ID that you'll be provided with will have a specific FC allocated to it, which is why um, if you have multiple multiple sent to Amazon workflows already created, each shipment you created will have its own designated fulfillment center. So just something important to make note of, especially later down the line. Now, make sure that you check the correct fulfillment center information, making sure that the address you're making use of is 100% correct when you do provide the information to your courier, while confirming the shipment ID as well, in order to avoid potentially shipping to the wrong FC or a completely wrong location as well. Now, shipments delivered to the wrong FC cannot be received and will unfortunately be rejected by our fulfillment team. Now, let's start with the first step. So the moment you land on this on step 2, you'll be presented with the option of ship date. Now the ship date is the date that you intend to hand your shipments over to your courier. So let's say I'm only planning to go to a courier guy kiosk the end of the week, this Friday. That's the day I will indicate being the ship date. Now, next up, you'll then have the options under shipping mode of small parcel deliveries and less than and full truckload, LTL and FTL. Now, with small parcel deliveries, this consists of units packed in individual boxes, and each box is then individually labeled for delivery. With less than full truckload deliveries, this consists of multiple shipping boxes transported in a pallet. Now, this is where it's important to make note of. Regardless of the amount of boxes you'll be sending in, the amount of boxes you indicated on the send to Amazon process, it will stay small parcel deliveries unless you are actually shipping those boxes in a pallet or pallets. So if you're just sending multiple boxes of products that aren't being um, that isn't being shipped in pallets, your option will stay small parcel deliveries. Just super important to make note of. Now, next up is merge workflow. If you're sending in small parcel deliveries, you can basically ignore this, as this merge workflow option is only available for less than a full truckload. So if you want to consolidate multiple palletized shipments into one. Um, now, 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 this is where more magic happens. So, in the select shipping carrier option, do not be confused by when you see non-Amazon partnered courier. This is the option you'll select regardless if you're using one of our partnered couriers, if you're shipping yourself, or if you're using just a courier that's a completely different courier that's not one of our preferred, or if it's not your own. Um, so by default, the option will be other, regardless, regardless of who will be shipping those products, it will stay other. Now, preferred couriers are um, TCG, aka the courier guy, and DPD laser. Um, I'll fixate on that a bit more later on when it comes to appointment booking. Um, but yeah, let's move on. And then yeah, and then from here, after you've indicated the who will be shipping as other, you've indicated that, you'll then all the information required for the delivery will, or most of it, will be under the indicator or heading of number of shipments. This is where you will be able to see um, the ship from, the ship to address, and your shipment reference ID, which is very, very important to have. But we're going to move on. We're going to see in step 3 that option will be more visible as well, or that all that information will be visible to you again. Now, once you're happy, you have already printed all the labels as you did in the previous step. You have indicated you'll be sending in small parcel deliveries. You've indicated other, and all your shipment information looks correct. You can then click on accept charges and confirm shipping. Do not be concerned when it says accept charges. For now, the only charges you have to worry about is prepping. So if you opted for prepping and labeling services, there will be a fee. If you haven't indicated that at all, you'll see when you click on, even if you refer a little bit above accept charge and confirm shipping, you'll have an indication that says the total cost of the total prep and labeling fees. That will be 0. So then you don't have to worry about that. Next up, we're going to move on to step 3. So in this step, this is where the labels are generated for you to paste on your boxes, the boxes that will be containing all your products. Now, each box requires an FBA box ID label, which we will generate for you in a PDF file that you just need to print out. Now, on the right on the slide is an example of what a label will look like. of what how one of those labels will look like. Apologies. Um, so in the example on the right, that's a case where we indicated we'll be sending in 5 boxes, not just one. So then, yeah, this label is one label out of 5, and then the PDF file that you'll be able to generate will have 5 separate labels that you can print out. Now, um, from here, it's once again just more of a confirmation again of what you've indicated in the previous steps. Then you'll have an option to click on print box label. Now you'll have a drop down option. By default, you'll have an option of 9.9 by 13.9 centimeter label on an A4 page, or you have two other options, a 4 by 6 inch label, which is about 10 by 15 centimeter label. And then you'll also have a label, just basically a label on an A4 page. So the options are a bit more limited in comparison to the SKU label options you have, the custom labels and all that you can have. Yeah, box labels, you only have 3 options, literally. Now, at this point, you will then now need to contact the carrier to arrange for delivery for your shipments and follow the guidance in step 5 that I will be covering very shortly. But yeah, once you have the box labels, you are basically ready now. You're able to paste the labels onto the box containing all your already prep products that already has their labels on it. So you're basically now ready to have the product shipped via a courier. Now, please take note of the shipment reference and Amazon reference ID. The Amazon reference ID is AKA your PO, as this is required to book appointments for delivery on Carrier Central. I'll be covering that a little bit later too. Now, if you're shipping pallets and indicated in the previous step that you would be sending via less than a full truckload, FBA box ID labels must be placed on the boxes before they're loaded onto the pallets. Reason being, each individual box loaded onto the pallet will have their own label. And then once the pallet is constructed, there will be labels for the pallets as well. So there will be 4 labels generated per pallet, a label on each side of the pallet. Now, we're going to move on to step 4, specifically for palletized shipments. But yeah, if you're not shipping pallets and you're sticking to small parcel deliveries, you will basically also be at this point of booking that appointment via Carrier Central. However, an appointment will only be needed if you aren't using one of our preferred couriers, as I mentioned, being the Courier Guy or DPD Laser. With using any other courier, or if you're delivering the shipments yourself to your designated fulfillment center, an appointment booking will be needed. And yeah, and in cases like that, if you already have your own logistics company or freights, or if you have your own trucks, you definitely can deliver yourself. The only coinky dink with that would be is you will need to book an appointment through Carrier Central. Um, Now, let's move on to step 4, where I'll be moving on to step 5 of the appointment bookings and the actual the nitty gritty of carriers a little bit later, very shortly. So, in the step, very much similar to step 2, where you will have to then confirm. You'll have yet again an option that says non-Amazon partner carrier. Yet again, the option will stay other, regardless of who delivers it, a partner courier, yourself, or a different courier. Now, from here, under pallet information, you have to indicate how many pallets you'll be shipping, and then click on print. This is very important, as the amount of labels, the amount of pallets you indicate will then generate the amount of labels accordingly. So if you're sending in 3 pallets, it will be four labels per pallet. So 12 labels will be generated total that needs to be printed out. Um, as I mentioned, 4 labels will need to be pasted around on each side of the pallet. And then yeah, from here, once you have the pallet built, the labels are pasted on, you are now ready now to proceed to tracking, or proceeding to enter in tracking details. Now, let's move on to step 5. So, let me just make sure. Yeah, step 5. So, step 5, scheduling that delivery to a Amazon fulfillment center. Now, in order to deliver shipments to the Amazon fulfillment center, selling partners needs to reach out to their carrier of choice and arrange for delivery of the shipment to the respective fulfillment center. An appointment is required in order to deliver shipments to a FC. Shipments delivered without a scheduled appointment may not be accepted by our fulfillment team. of fulfillment center team, which is why setting an appointment is of utmost importance in the interest of time, especially if you don't want to be rejected for a shipment and have to come back again to the fulfillment center after you've already booked the appointment, after you had to book an appointment. So super important that you book that appointment. Now, sellers can work with any carrier to deliver into Amazon. However, the chosen carrier must be registered on our Carrier Central portal in order to book that appointment to one of our fulfillment centers. Now, the carrier needs to create and schedule an appointment on our Carrier Central portal in order to obtain a slot for delivery for your shipment. So it's basically a form you will basically fill out to register yourself, after which you will then basically the information you would have gotten during the send to Amazon process. You'll be asked to input that, including like contact details and whatnot, which is why this is also important. If you're having a courier doing it, the courier will have to do it themselves. The reason being, they will have to, because they will be delivering to Amazon quite frequently. So they will have to do it themselves in order to eliminate the need for them to do it again for other shipments. But it's of utmost importance they do it. They register the account and then they'll have to book the appointment themselves for you as well, which is why it's important you provide all that information or even just a screenshot of your send to Amazon process to them, with all that information, the address, the shipment ID, the FBA reference ID, the apologies, the Amazon the PO, the Amazon reference ID, that would be the PO, which is why it's important to give them that. And this is also why it's important if you are shipping it yourself, you would have to register as a courier, or just register on Carrier Central, book an appointment, and then Bob's your uncle. Now, um, from here, remember, once you have the courier contacted, be sure that you request the tracking ID from them, as the final step of the send to Amazon process requires a tracking ID, so that you can just kind of keep track of the shipment yourself on your account directly. Now, focusing on our preferred couriers now. The quickest and most efficient way for selling partners to send their shipments to Amazon fulfillment centers is to use our preferred couriers. Now, our preferred couriers are for all FBA sellers in South Africa, that will provide access to convenient shipping into Amazon fulfillment centers at competitive rates. Now, Amazon has two preferred couriers, being specifically DPD Laser and the Courier Guy, to provide inbound shipping services from anywhere in South Africa. Now, Amazon's preferred couriers have daily set appointments at Amazon fulfillment centers, improving the speed and efficiency that we can receive products from our selling partners, and completely, and emphasis on completely, eliminating the need for you to worry about booking appointments on Carrier Central. So if you're using TCG, Courier Guy, or DPD Laser, you don't have to worry about booking appointments at all. Um, Now, from here, it's then a matter of reaching out to the courier. We're going to use TCG, for example, going to one of the kiosks, booking doing an online booking for them to pick up the shipments from you in order to then deliver to your designated fulfillment center. And then, and then just to emphasize again, you definitely can deliver yourself to our fulfillment centers. It's just a matter of registering yourself on Carrier Central, and then booking the appointment. But yeah, you definitely can deliver yourself. Now, let's move on to the final step of the send to Amazon process, actually tracking that shipment. Now, in this process, or in this step, this is where you are meant to capture your tracking ID and any and all information provided by your courier. So, under pro/freight bill number, enter the tracking ID provided by the carrier. And then under by default, if you don't have a bill of labeling or bill, which will be provided by the courier, your Amazon, your FBA reference ID will be used by default as your bill. So you don't have to worry about that. And then from here, you can then view your shipment status on your shipping queue. So basically, at this point, after you've added your tracking IDs and all the bills and pardon me, apologies, your Amazon reference IDs and whatnot, and your pros and freight bill numbers, you can now basically track the shipment under your shipping queue. Now, where you can then track shipment, this will then present a page where you'll be able to monitor the status of your shipment and the flow of your inventory from creation to actual closure, where it's on the shelf ready to be sold. Um, Apologies. And yeah, so yeah, from here it's literally just a waiting game, waiting for the courier to deliver to our fulfillment center, and then for our fulfillment center staff to actually get the products unboxed, get them scanned, and then get them loaded onto that shelf to be made available for sale. Literally just that. And that's where the send to Amazon workflow ends, And that's where your selling journey in Amazon begins. Now, before that, let's do a quick look at the prepping of your products. So, basics on shipment preparation. So, when getting ready to prep your products for an FBA shipment, you can choose to either prep them yourself or use the FBA prep service, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. Now, if you use the prep service, Amazon will prepare your eligible products for a per unit fee. I'll emphasize or make mention of why I mentioned eligible very shortly. Now, when you build your shipping plan, we'll provide an estimate on the prep fees based on the expected services, the amount of prep required, for example. For example, a product that just needs to be bagged versus a product that needs to be bubble wrapped multiple times. That's where the prep fees will vary. Now, after selecting or prep the products, you can then use the label product tab to choose whether you or Amazon will label each unit. However, as I mentioned, as we will be doing the prep, you'll automatically be opted into the labeling service as well, because we can't label the product without prepping it first. Now, with the mention of eligible. Now, if you have a generic product, a product without the product barcode, you will need to do the labeling yourself, unfortunately, as Amazon will be able to identify the products assigned to you as a selling partner without some form of identifier, which would be that product barcode. Without the product barcode, the option to do the prep services won't be available, sadly. But yeah, the option won't even be available. And then, yeah, just to cover some basics on product labeling. So, firstly, each unit must have an easily accessible exterior scannable barcode or label. The FNSKU barcode can be placed on the product label so that Amazon can easily find the correct products and ensure that they're stored in the right place. Now, if you reuse boxes from previous shipments or boxes that you receive directly from the manufacturer that has barcodes on the outside of them, you'll either need to remove, cover, or mark them so that they're not scannable at all. And then when labeling, be sure to print the full set of labels. Each label is unique, so please don't photocopy them or reuse them for future shipments. That batch of labels is only for that specific shipment. Now, all boxes must have shipment labels, and labels may not include any other messaging or notes or comments of any sort. All labels should be placed on a very easy to see spot, either on the side or top of the box. With that, please don't place the labels on the box's seam where when we open the box that the label will be damaged. Additionally, never tape or add any tape over the box label. Make sure that the label is completely unobstructed, so that we can easily scan it. So let's move on to how to start learning on Seller University. So we have reached the end of our presentation for FBA, or the Send to Amazon workflow. However, before we move on to the Q&A section, I would like to quickly go through how to start learning on Amazon, or through Seller University, as we have several videos on our Seller University ZA YouTube channel, not only covering FBA, but EasyShip, listing basics, brand registry. We have a plethora, like a bunch of different videos that you can make use of, just to help you with your journey and getting listings up and running, getting stock inbounded and whatnot. So you can click on the computer to start the video if it didn't start automatically. However, effectively, to find Seller University, you would once more click on the menu button in the top left corner of your screen on Seller Central. Um, then it will be the second last option that will say Learn. When you click on Learn, be sure to click on Seller University. From here, you will also be able to check on any upcoming webinars as well. So you'll be able to keep up to date with any upcoming webinars as well. And then, yeah, you can also just browse through any available content we have and all that. But yeah, be sure to bookmark that page for future use, and even bookmark our Seller University YouTube channel as well, for easy access. So let's move on to our Q&A section. So if you're sending a box with 5 different SKUs, will you have to indicate which SKUs are included in that box? Yes. So now, conveniently, when you follow the Send to Amazon process, when you go to step 1, it will basically highlight all the products it will indicate all the products you have, and then you can then basically check off each product that you want to start inbounding. And then, based on what you've indicated, what products you'll be sending in, you can then, from there, decide, okay, you are going to um, you're going to send in 4 products, let's say 5 products. Then based, like, once you've got you'll indicate the amount of units, then you'll have to click on ready to send for all five products. Then once you've indicated that you are ready to send these 5 products during step 1, the labels that will be generated for you will already have that unique identifiers of the SKUs on them, or we call them the FN SKU labels. It will start with X00. Then those that will already be the indicator for each individual product you'll be sending in. But yeah, the system already indicates what product what you'll be sending in, and during step 1B, packing that individual units, you'll also then be able to indicate that all those products will be able to go into one box. For example, if all those products are small enough to fit into one box, then it's just a matter of making sure that you label each product correctly. And then, yeah, our system already know, based on what you've indicated, what product belongs with what label, belongs to which shipment. So it's just a matter of making sure that you label those products correctly. Yeah, I hope I answered that question of yours. Which couriers are approved by Amazon? So for now, we don't have approved couriers. You can basically use any carrier you want, literally. You can even ship it yourself and like pose as the carrier, literally. Um, but our preferred couriers are the Courier Guy and DPD Laser. Now, with that, I see your follow-up question was, if using a pre-approved courier, will they make the booking on my company's behalf? Sadly not. Oh, wait. The booking on my company's behalf, most certainly, yeah. So the actual send to Amazon process, you would have to follow that yourself. So you would have to go through that process that I went through. However, in terms of the actual appointment booking, so if the courier isn't DPD Laser or Courier Guy, that courier, your courier that you are making use of, will have to do the booking themselves on your behalf. 100%. They'll have to register an account for themselves through Carrier Central, and then once they are registered, the registration process is quite simple. It's literally very similar to like a product SKU. Like, you indicate the SKU of your product, they'll have to indicate a unique identifier for their company. So for example, let's use TCG for example. They will then have, they call it a standard carrier alpha code. It's literally like when you go through Carrier Central, that will be one of the asks. It's literally, you can just say TCG 123. That will be theirs. Please don't use that. But like for example, if you're using that courier will then use their own unique identifier, and then they'll be asked for their phone number. They'll be asked for a name, like like the name of someone in from that carrier's courier service that that we can reach out to if need be. A phone number. We'll ask for a referencing PO that you would naturally have provided the courier through your send to Amazon process. And then, yeah, that's literally the registration. And then from there, it's just booking the appointment. We'll ask what day you would want, etc. But I would say check the help pages I've sent in our group chat, just to get more insight on that. And you can even forward it to your courier so they can become more familiar on what to do and how to get that appointment booked. Or firstly get themselves registered and then get the appointment booked. Let's move on to the next question. Yeah, I see there was a few questions actually regarding whether you can deliver yourself instead of a courier. You most definitely can. It's just once more, get an appointment booked, please. Because yeah, without an appointment, our FC staff will be forced to reject the shipment. So you definitely can deliver yourself. It's just a matter of registering yourself under Carrier Central and then booking that appointment. Um, Pardon me, apologies. And then, yeah, just following up on that. So once you go through Carrier Central, you've booked the appointment. You'll see you won't really have an option of indicating the time. Reason being, you'll only be able to indicate the day when you'll be able to deliver, and then usually you'll get a confirmation email confirming that yippee, you successfully requested an appointment, and then within a 24-hour period, you'll get another email confirming your actual time slot of when you need to deliver. But yeah, but I'll say definitely check those help pages for more information on that. But yeah, I have one question. Can we put like clear sellotape across the printed on the outside, across the label printed on the outside of the box, or do I paste the label, or how do I paste the label outside on the outside of the box? Typically, if you have one of those thermal printers, the label printers, that will be ideal. Um, we don't typically recommend the sellotape route because it can there are instances where a selling partner may paste like clear sellotape over the label just to secure it, which will result in difficulty with us actually scanning the label. Because yeah, one of the label the one of the tips I would offer is, or typically for labeling, and that we covered also in our packaging and labeling webinar that's currently available on our Sally University YouTube channel, is um, you mustn't use clear reflective material or labels when you printing those labels. So the moment you use sellotape, that can cause issues. I would say if you are able to maybe use some form of glue or Prit of some sort, yes, as long as the label is firmly affixed. Now, typically those box labels are printed on quite a large white background. So if you are at a loss, I would say yes, but just make sure that you don't cover any part of the label, any part of the barcode. You basically just using that white background as a means of pasting using the sellotape. Yeah. So I would say yes, but just be very careful, be, like super careful, as any instance of us being unable to scan that label will cause issues. So I would say, please, please, please don't cover any part of that label at all, just the white bits. What type of label papers we need for shipments? I would say literally any type of paper that isn't reflective. I would say literally any non-reflective paper will be ideal. Um, and yeah, like even if you're able to procure like from, let's say, CNA, for example, if you're able to purchase from like a stationery store or online, if you're able to get labels, uh, you can go that route, as we do. They are online, they are sellers of 44 up labels, for example, 21 up labels, those individual rolls of labels as well, so you can go that route as well. But as long as it's not reflective, yeah, you will be a for a way. Yippadoodle. So yeah, that is about it. We have reached the end. So very sorry I have taken 8 minutes of your time. But yeah, we have reached the end of our presentation. I do greatly appreciate your time today. And yeah, just attending overall. And yeah, just have a lovely day further. Keep well, keep warm. But yeah, otherwise, thank you so much once again. Have a lovely day further and keep well on your end. Cheers, cheers, and bye bye.